This is the 8 o'clock news with Marsha Brandwin and Jay Scott. Bill Austin with the weather, Rick Monday with sports, and the entire Emmy Award-winning Channel 11 News team.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marsha Brandwin. Welcome to the premiere edition of our 8 o'clock news. We are happy to have you with us.
And I'm Jay Scott. Our top story tonight, record temperatures and fires scorching the Southland.
That's right. We don't need to tell you really about it. Record-setting, bone-dry, scorching heat is roasting the Southland for a second straight day. By midday, triple-figure temperatures set in, and according to the National Weather Service, there is no relief in sight until the weekend. Downtown, the mercury reached 107 degrees this afternoon. It broke a century-old record, and in the desert areas, temperatures soared to 115 degrees. Power companies are reporting a fairly high level of energy usage, and the AAA says vehicles have been overheating all day long. And the hot temperatures didn't help matters as a series of brush fires are raging through Southern California. Intense heat, erratic winds are making the fight tougher as at least 10 major fires have ignited in the past 2 days. So far, more than 30,000 acres have burned. Dozens of homes have been destroyed throughout Southern California. Channel 11's Mary Ruth Carlton is standing by right now, live at the scene of one of the brush fires in Las Virgenes in the mountains near Malibu. Mary Ruth, what's the situation?
Well, Marsha, the fire hazard tonight here is very extreme. As you said, there have been numerous fires today, and the big one is in the Thousand Oaks area to the north. Late this afternoon, the heat and the dry brush sent another fire racing through the canyons of the Santa Monica Mountains. This fire was in the Malibu Canyon area, just southwest of Mulholland and Las Virgenes Road intersection. Fire crews who weren't on the lines elsewhere were rushed to the scene, as were several helicopters. It was a small but stubborn fire. The flames would die down and then shoot into the air again. What worried firemen most at first was that Cottontail Ranch, a summer camp for kids, was right in the fire's path. Some 200 kids are staying there. They were evacuated easily. All are safe. Firemen are saying the fire is almost 100% contained at this hour, and the kids are returning to their camps as we are on the air. In the canyons around Thousand Oaks tonight, the flames are still burning. Some 3,500 acres are out of control. The fire is only 60% contained. Channel 11's Chris Harris was on the scene today. He has this report.
All morning long, firefighters thought they may have gotten the upper hand, but late in the morning, just before noon, the winds kicked up again, and this was the result. When this wall of flame erupted on a hillside in Carlisle Canyon, beleaguered firefighters on the ground had to retreat, carrying their hoses with them. They called in their Air Force. Water-dropping helicopters and big fixed-wing aircraft loaded with fire retardant came in waves, making run after run over the flames. Firemen on the ground could do nothing except watch the fire roar up the hillside. A small army is battling this blaze.
We've got 10 copters flying. The fixed-wing aircraft have been pulled off because the topography, they can't get low enough to do any good with their drops. We've got 24 crews. We're going to be taking some of those crews into the fire, dropping them, and having them work it out.
It's known that what's being called the Lake Sherwood fire started at Mulholland Highway and Westlake Boulevard. How it started isn't known yet. Arson investigators are moving in even as other firemen try to put a ring around this blaze. In the Santa Monica Mountains near the LA-Ventura County line, Chris Harris, Channel 11 News.
And fire officials told us moments ago that they don't think the Thousand Oaks area fire, the Lake Sherwood fire, will be contained until Wednesday night. Reporting live from the Santa Monica Mountains, Mary Ruth Carlton, Channel 11 News.
Thank you very much, Mary Ruth. Of course, then there was the bad one in San Diego yesterday.
Absolutely. One of the very worst firestorms of the year occurred in the Normal Heights area of San Diego. 63 homes were destroyed, and about 150 people are homeless because of the blaze. Channel 11's Larry Goodwin has more from San Diego.
Doing its damage quickly, the fire raced up these canyons from the Mission Valley floor below. As it picked up speed, police worked to evacuate those whose homes rimmed the canyons. Many returned to find their homes and possessions lost.
You take your insurance and get what you can, but it doesn't replace all the memorabilia. My husband lost his son last year. We had some 8mm film of him and things in our basement that were just irreplaceable.
In terms of the number of homes lost, it's the worst fire in San Diego history. Firefighters never really had a chance.
You know, we had about a 2-mile frontier, and you have to address everything at the same time. And the way this thing moved, it was just almost impossible.
Firemen had such a difficult time stopping the fire short of the homes at the top of the canyon because of the very steep terrain in Normal Heights. There were also gusty winds and torrid heat yesterday, and at times the fire got burning so fiercely it actually created its own winds.
if you could have been here and saw what I saw, there's nobody, we're talking Superman and God, weren't going to save these places.
Early damage estimates cite a figure of $6 million. In San Diego, Larry Goodwin for Channel 11 News.
Well, it's been a long way home, but by tomorrow, the freed American hostages will be back in the United States. Former hostages underwent physical and psychological tests at Wiesbaden Air Force Base in West Germany today. The freed Americans were all very upbeat. They even joked today about their captivity.
And I'll never eat pita bread again. Pita bread will never pass these lips.
What's the first thing you want to do when you get home?
Well, despite the relief of seeing their loved ones again, the hostages could not completely forget the terror of Flight 847.
What was the worst moment for you? Having a gun pointed to my head and the trigger pulled.
The hostages are all in good condition, according to doctors, and even had a chance to go on a shopping spree at the base PX. Jay?
Well, a Newberry Park man, one Thomas Murray, is one of the former hostages coming home tomorrow. Last night, Murray was able to call his family in Newberry Park. Murray told his wife and daughter that he's doing fine, thank you. But today, his daughter Mary Ann told Channel 11's Chris Harris that there will be some adjustments to make, and here's what she meant.
Well, for us, it's just a matter of being there for him. I've heard other hostages from, like, the Iranian crisis, and psychologists on television talk about what, in general terms, what could possibly happen. They expect a couple of weeks of elation, time with the media, and then things will settle down, and a period of depression.
Meantime, in Washington, President Reagan is saying that it is necessary to fight back against terrorism. The president has ordered legal and diplomatic moves as a result of the hijacking. Metro Media's Eric Rabe is standing by right now live at the White House to tell us more about the president's plan. Eric?
Well, Marcia, as you've reported, except for the murdered Robert Steedham, the TWA passengers are all now safe and on their way home. And so today, the Reagan administration is trying to make sure that other Americans will never have to share their ordeal.
The United States has vowed to punish the men responsible for Steedham's murder and the hijacking. The first steps in that direction were announced by the State Department late this afternoon. Measures one official says will close the Beirut airport. Among the moves, a ban on all flights by Lebanon's Middle East Airways into the United States. MEA flies twice a week to New York. Also prohibited will be all cargo flights between the United States and Beirut. The president is considering moving against international airlines that continue service to Beirut. Those carriers would not be allowed to fly to the United States. That would affect Air France, Cyprus Air, and Belgium's Sabena. The United States is urging all our allies to support a boycott of Beirut. A senior State Department official says the moves will put pressure on the community of Lebanon, but even he admits the sanctions would not have prevented the TWA hijacking. Also unclear tonight is the U.S. view of Syria, whose President Assad arranged the hostages' release.
It's clear the United States wants to continue to take a tough line against the terrorists, but the airport sanctions do little to punish the men responsible themselves. Still, many observers here in Washington, Marcia, believe this may be the best the United States can do. There we go. Marcia?
Yes, Eric, a question. In a late report tonight, we heard that Secretary of State Schultz said that they know now who the original hijackers were, and they're considering steps against them. But in all actuality, is there any real legal step the United States can take against these men?
Yeah, I talked to a senior State Department official today about that, Marcia, and they will try the legal maneuvers that are possible. That includes, for example, asking for the extradition of the hijackers to the United States, or asking Lebanon's government, Nabi Berri's the justice minister there, asking that government to punish them, put them on trial, maybe put them in jail. As a practical matter, I don't think there can be a great deal of hope that either of those kinds of moves would have much effect.
All right, thank you very much for staying up for us back there. Thanks a lot.
Eric Rabe reporting live from Washington. On the heels of the hostage release, terrorists struck 3 times in Europe today. A bomb exploded at the British Airways ticket office in Madrid, killing 1 woman and injuring 27 others, including a Southland teenager. Sydney Bridges of Ontario. The building also houses the TWA ticket counter, and a Beirut group that claimed responsibility for the bombing said it was a response to President Reagan's vow to fight back against terrorists. Rome's international airport was also attacked by terrorists. A suitcase exploded on the way to an airliner set to take off for India, injuring about 15 airport employees. The airport was closed for a short time while police searched for suspects and more bombs. And in Athens, Greece, a truck filled with propane tanks exploded outside a suburban hotel. The cars of 3 U.S. military officers were destroyed, but no one was injured. Marcia?
And we have much more ahead on our 8 o'clock news. Contaminated cheese bringing a cry for resignation. We will take you live to Mayor Bradley's inauguration party at City Hall, and we will have a special report about infants who are addicted to hard drugs.
If you've put off planning your summer vacation waiting for a low airfare to fall into your lap, American Airlines has something special in the air for you. American Airlines Ultimate Super Savers. Good to all our destinations in the continental U.S. Discounts up to 70%. Fares from $39 to $149. So get moving before your summer vacation passes you by.
Something special in the air.
For Lee Cashin Real Estate Developer, construction problems can cause a headache.
The headache is very painful. I would like an aspirin.
Today we'd like you to try extra strength Tylenol. It works without aspirin.
It'll have to get rid of my headache.
Regular aspirin only gives you this much medicine, but extra strength Tylenol goes to the limit. It's the most medicine you can buy without a prescription.
The headache is gone. The shoulder pains have gone. Extra strength Tylenol would now be my #1 choice.
Extra strength Tylenol. You can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a...
Want to go to a party? Big party is happening tonight at L.A. City Hall. Mayor Tom Bradley is celebrating the start of his unprecedented 4th term in office. Channel 11's Tony Valdez standing by for a live report right now on the inaugural gala. Tony?
Well, Marcia, the gala is going full tilt here on the south lawn of the City Hall, and there is an awful lot to celebrate here this evening. Back in 1973, it seemed as though Tom Bradley was always referred to as Los Angeles' first black mayor. By the time he won a second victory in 1977, Tom Bradley was referred to as Los Angeles' black mayor. Now, as he begins his historic 4th term, Tom Bradley has earned what his predecessors perhaps took for granted. He's now simply called the mayor.
Swear. I, Tom Bradley, do solemnly swear.
It was a proud and satisfying moment for this grandson of a slave, this son of a sharecropper who's been elected 4 times to lead one of the world's great cities. Early this morning, the mayor took his inaugural celebration to the Van Nuys Civic Center, where he recalled the arrival of the Olympic flame and the astoundingly successful 1984 Summer Games.
The flame was extinguished, but the vision lives on. For us, the moment was not an ending, but a beginning of a new era for a great city that can be even greater.
But by the time the official inauguration began at high noon downtown, even greatness took a back seat to the blazing sun and 3-digit temperatures. Seats in the shade were at a premium, while those in the sun went begging. But the mayor had a challenge to offer.
Let us see not only what we are, but what we can be. Let us look not only at what we possess, but at what we can contribute. Let us take our success not as something to rest on, but as something to build on.
Also celebrating here, although not necessarily here at City Hall this evening, are re-elected council members Howard Finn, Joy Pikus, Zev Yaroslavsky, Hernani Bernardi, Gilbert Lindsay, and Marvin Browdy. And of course, this is a very special day for Michael Wu, who defeated Peggy Stevenson in his second attempt. So he is now the junior member of the council, now representing the 13th district. We will be back at 10 o'clock with a somewhat different perspective on today's events. That is the situation here at the gala at this point. Back to you, Marcia.
And maybe more people will be dancing and having a good old time there at 10 o'clock, Tony.
I'm sure
Looks
there will
a little
be.
staid right now. Thank you.
Well, the outcry over the sale of deadly Jalisco cheese continues tonight. State Senator Art Torres is calling for the firing of all government employees who had anything to do with inspecting the tainted cheese. In a meeting with the reporters, the senator blasted state and county health departments, saying their lax inspections caused the deaths of nearly 50 people.
I will be sharing my findings with the governor, and I will urge him to remove all personnel, inspectors, supervisors, and administrators who had responsibility for the Jalisco tragedy. Public health is too important to be left in the hands of these individuals who have little regard for their responsibilities even to deal with paperwork, much less with the health and safety of Californians.
Senator Torres now backing a bill to tighten the laws regulating the inspection of such plants. He hopes to have the proposed law on the governor's desk within about 2 weeks' time. And our next report is a very, very important one. It is about one of the fastest growing forms of child abuse in Los Angeles, drug addiction among infants. Channel 11 Saida Pagan has a special report. It is called Born Hooked, Drug Addicted Babies.
This baby is just a few hours old, but already he's a drug addict. His body's craving the heroin he used to get from his mother. He was born hooked. Drug-addicted babies aren't the exception anymore. There are hundreds born each year, hooked on every kind of legal and illegal drug. In Los Angeles County alone, 240 addicted babies were reported last year. And in 1985, those figures are expected to double. These are some of the drugs the doctors are now finding in the systems of newborn babies. Cocaine, an extremely powerful stimulant which can cause depression when the high is over. And PCP, an extremely dangerous drug which can cause hallucinations and is stored indefinitely in the fatty tissue of the body. This baby was receiving drugs when his brain was developing, and withdrawal is hard. He's in pain, his muscles are tense, he's irritable and jittery, he's not eating well. Dr. Exelina Bean is head of neonatology at Drew King Medical Center in Los Angeles. She's seen the numbers of addicted babies grow to where they now account for a full 10% of the admissions.
They don't sleep very well. There's a marked alteration in sleep patterns. So if you walk into a nursery such as ours and you look around and you see the baby that's lying over there in the isolette with his eyes wide open and awake, you know that's the drug baby.
Drew King may see a lot of addicted babies, but the problem is not limited to low-income families.
And then we have affluent families that are taking more commonly cocaine, minor tranquilizers that babies are born intoxicated with.
The babies didn't have a choice about getting hooked, but their mothers did. And tomorrow we'll tell you how one woman's cocaine habit turned her baby into an addict too.
It got to the point where that's all I would think about and think about my pregnancy. I did it from day one of my pregnancy till the day I had him.
In Los Angeles, Saida Pagan, Channel 11 News.
And still ahead on our 8 o'clock news tonight, Bill Austin is going to tell us if there is any heat relief in sight. And then we are going to introduce you to a pro who trains the young for competition.
I love that squeaky sound, you know? I love that squeaky sound on those feet, because then I know you're taking those quick little steps.
One reason why Duracell batteries deliver such long-lasting power is because we're always improving them. In fact, today's Duracell batteries will last up to 20% longer than the ones we made just 3 years ago. And we'll keep on improving them through rain, snow, sleet, dead of night. Duracell, the copper top battery. When it comes to making them last longer, we never stop.
Renault introduces 10,000 miles of gas. Get a check that'll pay for 10,000 miles of gas on any new Renault, like American-built Alliance sedan and Encore hatchback. 10,000 miles of gas, 5 years or 50,000 miles of protection. 550 plus, America's best small car protection on European technology that's affordable.
Now, only at your California Renault Jeep dealer today.
Start your holiday weekend off with a bang at Los Alamitos. You'll find great quarter horse racing under the lights, and on July 3rd, you'll be able to enter the Mitsubishi Dream Prize sweepstakes. You could win a giant 36-inch projection TV, remote color TV, or VCR, and everyone wins either free admissions or a free food item. And on Saturday, July 6th, every adult fan will receive a stylish, rugged, all-purpose tote bag. The 4th of July weekend at Los Alamitos. Exciting nighttime racing and a whole lot more.
Tonight, what do Ruth Buzzy, Phyllis Diller, Carol Burnett, and Shirley Jones all have in common?
I'm Michael Marin.
The man with the makeovers helps Hollywood keep pace and shows you how to look your hottest on PM Magazine.
In some cases, I might make a woman feel beautiful for the first time, and you don't know what that does.
Also, America's commercial queen rates the stores for the stars.
I put these people in hidden camera commercials.
See what the stars of tomorrow are selling today on PM Magazine, 8:30 tonight.
Well, is it hot or is it hot?
I
Bill Austin is here to tell us.
Record-breaking heat, as a matter of fact. You have to go back to the 1800s to find the last time.
1884, I believe it was.
And with yesterday, with the forest fire blowing in, it's not your imagination. There is actually smoke and still ash and debris coming from the forest fires up north. Felt like I was in the barbecue pit today, just hickory smoke. Take a look at a beautiful sight caused by a horrible force. That's the smoke from all the fires up north at Las Virgenes. But it's a gorgeous evening. Full moon beginning to rise. Tomorrow we have a full moon, and later in the month we have a full moon. That doesn't happen. We don't have 2 full moons again until 1988. Civic Center today had a high of 107. This morning's low was 77 degrees. Previous record high was 99 degrees, which we just shot through back in 1884. It was a hot Monday all across the Southland. 98 in Lancaster, 100 degrees in Palmdale, 108 in Burbank, 114 in Palm Springs, Mount Wilson all the way up to 83, 107 in Long Beach, and 97 degrees in Torrance. What's causing this? Well, it's a big high-pressure ridge, actually in the upper atmosphere over parts of Arizona. That, in combination with a low-pressure system that's beginning to move in off the coast, the low kind of squeezing air down, the high beginning to push it up. We're getting a compression effect, much like a Santa Ana effect, where the warm air rides up over the mountains, is compressed, drops down, and it's hot and dry, bakes into the valley areas, and even the coastal regions were very warm. Long Beach, as you saw, had a record high temperature today. But the low pressure system makes the winds a little bit stronger up to the north. This system is not going anywhere. It will prevail. Stage 1 health alerts along the coast and through the inland valley areas. And for the future, the news is not good. A low pressure system will begin to make its way into California, but then veer to the north. The high pressure ridge will hold definitely until July 4th, and then things will begin to cool down. Dolores is down south, not to worry about it. In the basin, 74 overnight, 105 for the afternoon high tomorrow, 108 in the high desert, 117 in Palm Springs. We'll break a record again tomorrow. It'll be sunny and hot for the next few days, but very pleasant in the evening.
A lot of broken records. Let's hope it's not a broken record in another regard, right?
True.
See you later at 10 o'clock.
All right.
And here's a thought. California is America, all right, only more so. That's how an author put it recently, trying to describe that magical, mystical something that sets California apart from all the others. Most agree it's the people of this state who really make it unique. And with that in mind, Bill Smith begins a regular weekly feature about Californians. Tonight, Building Winners.
I love that squeaky sound, you know? I love that squeaky sound on those feet, because then I know you're taking those quick little steps.
Robert Lansdorp. Sometimes it's tough to tell if he is a tennis teacher or a Marine Corps drill sergeant.
Remember, always hit the ball up front, nice and up front.
Actually, he is a lot of both, mixing pressure.
No errors. We'll see who is the first one that's going to make an error here.
Pressure with patience.
Nice. And turn.
Well, actually, it's kind of fun. It actually makes you better when you does it.
So he's not going to break you by pushing you that hard?
No.
Look at the ball, look at the ball. Don't look where you're going to hit it.
Well, his kids often end up hitting it in Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Tracy Austin went all the way.
And the discipline that they have on the court, they carry off the court with them.
Any thoughts that you just might be, eventually, the best tennis player in the world?
Yeah.
The distance from Robert Lansdorp's court here in Torrance, California, to the grass courts of Wimbledon, England, is about 6,000 miles. Although, come to think of it, it just got a lot closer. Bill Smith, Channel 11 News.
And speaking of sports, Rick Mundy is going to be on deck in a moment to tell us if Steve Howe's Dodger career is coming to an end. Top meets bottom in the American League West. We'll tell you if the Angels kept their 2-game lead and the bottom falls out for 2 of the top seeds at Wimbledon. We'll tell you who's hot and who's out. Coming up next.
If you mistreat your diabetes, it can cause a paralyzing stroke, crippling blood circulation, or literally break your heart. But at the Diabetes Treatment Center, you'll control your diabetes through diet, exercise, determination, and medication. So you can ignore this message and merely take your medicine, or you can call the Diabetes Treatment Center and take control.
It's Bosley's Law. When it comes to keeping a handle on trash, you can never have too strong a grip. Why take chances? Glad handle tie bags have 3 plies of Stress Flex that lets the bag stretch without breaking, which comes in handy when your son goes for the world trash throw record.
He did it! The crowd goes crazy!
Glad handle tie trash and tall kitchen garbage bags. Why take chances? Get Glad. Now we've lowered glad handle tie prices. An even better reason not to take chances.
Know why Toyota's the #1 selling small truck? First off, nothing can get you out of the rough like a Toyota 4x4. Then, nothing can carry more equipment than the Toyota 1-Ton. And no small van can carry more than a Toyota. And most important, nothing can outdrive a Toyota. No wonder Toyota's the #1 selling small truck in America.
Rod Stewart, Elton John, and Cyndi Lauper together in the music event of the year. The Montreux Golden Rose Pop Festival. Also featuring Duran Duran, Roger Daltrey, Bonnie Tyler, and more. Saturday, July 6th at 8, only on Channel 11.
Well, we are truly delighted that Rick Monday has joined our team. Congratulations for us.
It's nice to be a rookie again.
We're happy to have you here, and he has all the sports. Obviously.
Thank you, Marcia. Well, Steve Howe has been found, but you're not going to find him in a Dodger uniform for a while. The Dodger reliever has been placed on the restricted list after not showing up for yesterday's game. Howe and his agent met with Dodger officials today to explain his whereabouts, and whatever explanation he gave, no one is saying what that is, by the way, was not good enough for Dodger VP Fred Claire. Claire said that Steve's account of his action shows that he's incapable of handling his assignment with the team. Howe's agent says that Steve took a urinalysis test today that proved negative and that this incident is unrelated to his previous Doug problems. So for now, Howe is off the roster, and 21-year-old Dennis Powell was called up from Albuquerque to replace him. But Tom Lasorda didn't need him tonight against the Reds in tonight's game at the stadium. The Dodgers broke out early and never looked back. Mariano Duncan scores first, the ball getting passed nicely at the plate. They stretch it to 2-0 in the first after R.J. Reynolds singles in the Dodgers' main bat, Pedro Guerrero, and then Dave Anderson with the long ball. 3-0 in the second. The Dodgers scored 5 more runs, including the 3-run homer by Greg Brock, before the Reds got on the board. Orel Hershiser got the win, 8-1 Los Angeles. Elsewhere in the National League, Atlanta 4-1 over San Francisco. Pittsburgh, the narrow margin over New York Mets. Chicago, Philadelphia, 3-1 Chicago, and Montreal 3-2 over St. Louis. Deep in the heart of Texas, it was the Angels against the Rangers, and some hot hitting for both teams. The Rangers' Pete O'Brien was really on fire, and the Angels just couldn't put him out. He starts off with this first-inning round tripper. And then what does he do? He finishes it with a 3 RBI double. That was in the third, and that made it 7-2. 5 RBIs tonight for O'Brien, 2 doubles, a homer, and too much for the California Angels. The Rangers win it 10-5. Elsewhere in the American League, Toronto lost to New York Yankees 4-1. Detroit 7-1 over Baltimore, and in the 8th inning, Seattle 3-0 over the White Sox. Milwaukee 5-1 over Boston. The courts were dry at Wimbledon for a while today, but some rains came for some of the top seeds. Joachim Nystrom, seeded 7th, was gunned down by Boris Boom Boom Becker of West Germany. But Ivan Lendl and Anders Jared made it through their third rounds. John McEnroe had the #2 court, but the #1 seed was tough to stop. Max serving in the near court in the third set. He runs Christo Stein around the court, then puts him away with a forehand down the line, set and matched to McEnroe 6-3, 7-5, 6-4. Hannah Mandlikova was not known for her consistency recently, and the women's third seed showed why today. Elizabeth Smiley forces her into the net. Smiley near court took the first set easily and burns Mandlikova with a backhand to take the tiebreaker. Chris Everett Lloyd, Pam Shriver, and Manuela Maleva all head for third round play, or fourth round play, I should say. We're going to have all the scores a little bit later on, 10 o'clock sports. A look at all the sports in today. Marcia.
It really is a sad situation about Steve Howe. I know you spoke with him last week, and you felt that he was kind of okay.
I spoke with him last week, and the surprising thing is, I think for stories we'll have for you coming up in our 10 o'clock news broadcast. We are, of course, continuing to monitor the situation at the fire grounds in Ventura County, and we'll have the very latest on that major blaze. There were 70 brushers in San Bernardino County alone today. Medical reporter Robin Grove has a special report coming up on how acupuncture can be used to relieve allergies. And entertainment editor Robert Osborne reviews a new film called Emerald Forest. It's all about men and survival in the Amazon forest. Join us at 10. And that's it for our first 8 o'clock news broadcast, but that is not it for the Channel 11 news team for tonight. We'll be back at 10.
We certainly will. We certainly hope you join us then. Until then, have a lovely evening. We'll see you later. Good night.
So long.